What's up YouTube, Justin Fuller here, and today is one of my favorites. I'm outside of a 2022 Honda CR-V, and I'm gonna show you a couple tips and tricks that you probably didn't know about, because there is nothing worse than owning this car for a year and then going, damn, I didn't even know it could do that. So let's hop on in and check out some tips. All right, so tip number one, I wanna show you how to set up a live wallpaper behind here. So all I gotta do is hold down and touch on the screen. This is gonna pop up and say, would you like to change the wallpaper? Which, yes, we would like to do. Now from here, I've got live wallpapers that I can access that easy. Now you've got plenty of different selections, but I'll pick this one because it's pretty crazy and you can see what's going on. Hit set, and then boom, now I've got a live wallpaper behind my scene. So you can customize the screen a little bit if you want. Now for the second part of this, I wanna stick with the wallpaper theme, but what if I wanna add my own custom image? Well, all I've gotta do is plug in a thumb drive into my USB that's on the passenger side, so don't plug it into your driver's side. And these images can be pretty big, guys. So I've done anywhere from 1920 by 1080 up to like 2560. So these can be bigger images. So I'm gonna go to change wallpaper. Now I have my USB plugged in right now and I'm gonna go to gallery. Now, when I go to gallery, it's gonna pull up and show me any options that I have on that USB drive. So I can see USB drive 2. I'm gonna select that. Now, I put a few images in here that I could use. So for the sake of this one, I'm gonna use this Fuller Life one that's fairly big. Now, what's cool is that they allow you to kind of customize exactly how much of the screen you wanna use, right? So if you want a lot of it or just a little bit of it, you can kind of move this around. Then once you get it to where you want, hit okay. And then it will save that image as your custom wallpaper, right? So now I've got this in the background running behind it. Now, I may not want to do this because I can't see the buttons that well, but it's cool that I can add any image I want there and I can change it out regularly. Now, in all the world of YouTube and everyone who's ever owned a car, who doesn't love a hidden menu, right? So to access this, we're gonna hit the brightness button, the volume, and the phone button all at the same time. So I'm gonna press and hold all three of these, and you gotta hold it for a couple seconds and then boom, this is gonna pop up. Now this top menu is gonna allow you to go into some self-diagnostic stuff. You know, things like, hey, I wanna check the speakers to make sure all of them are working or different displays, you know, that kind of form. So it's performing tests on the vehicle. Now in the bottom portion, this is where you're gonna get some additional options that you can kind of play with as far as versions, different guidelines, setups, audio check, units, monitoring. So unit-wise, you know, if we're jumping in here, I can play with some different things here, right? So I'm gonna back out of that for a second though, because there's an additional screen that I wanna show you. So from here, I'm gonna hold down the volume button and the phone button. So once again, I'm gonna press both these for a couple seconds. Boom. Now we're gonna get some even more settings that you can come through here and play with. Now, the one that's most important here that I wanna specifically access is the special function setting. Now, if I jump into the special function setting, this is gonna allow me to cancel the Android restriction. Now, the reason I would wanna do that is because now, when I jump back out of all this, right? So let me return out of this and get completely out of this screen. And then once I've done that, now I can go to what you see, this little box down here, and if I select that, what it's unlocked for me is one, I can access my gallery right there, but two, I can access my browser now. So if I want to be able to pull up something in the browser, I absolutely can. Now all I got to do is connect my vehicle up to Wi-Fi. Now on the theme of customization, what if I want to change the skin? Like what if I want to do something a little bit different? I want to show you how to do that. So if you go to settings, and then I'm gonna jump ahead, we're gonna go to system, right? Now, once I get to system, if I press up and jump to the very bottom of the screen, you can see where I can change skins. So if I wanna change the skin, I can select this, I'm gonna hit next, and then I believe it's gonna prompt me and I wanna say, yes, I wanna change it. It may take a second or two to get this loaded in, and then once it does, you'll notice that now I have a completely different background and all my button presentation is completely different. So I can change things around. So if you wanna customize it, not only now can I drop an image behind that or a live wallpaper as well. Now that we've unlocked the browser, we need to connect up to Wi-Fi, so let's walk you through how to do that. So from the home screen, I'm gonna go to settings. Now, once I'm into settings, I wanna go to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Now, there's two parts to this. One, I need to turn this option on. So I'm gonna select that, hit next, and then hit yes or on here in a second, right? So yes, I would like to be able to connect my car up to Wi-Fi. Now, from there, I need to scroll down a little bit and go to the Wi-Fi device list because I now need to add something to the Wi-Fi device list. So what I've done is I've turned my phone's hotspot on, right? So I can see my Pixel right there. So now I can go ahead and select it and hit add. Once I've done that, I'll simply type in what my password is and we'll be able to access the internet. So now that I've put in my password and connected up to this allows me to go back home, to hit this small button down at the bottom, to jump into my browser, and now this gives me the ability to pull up web pages. Now, I will remind you that when you do this, chances are you may need to update the browser, which usually it'll present you with that if you do, but now this is gonna allow me to jump in and go to those pages that I might wanna visit. So if you find yourself being a sports fan and you'd love to get notifications on your sporting team, let me show you how to get those notifications as you go. Now, this is gonna require that you're in a vehicle that offers XM, so just keep that in mind depending on the trim level that you're in. So I'm gonna go to settings. Now, under settings, I wanna select the audio option. Now, once I'm under audio, I wanna select the XM function here. So actually, it's already selected here, but in case you find yourself on one of these other tabs, just know that that's where you're gonna wanna go so that you can do this. Now, I wanna go to Sports Flash Setup. Now, I would prefer to have it to be on because I want it to interrupt me, but from here, I need to, of course, select my favorite teams, right? So you're gonna wanna jump in here, you've got a spot for 5 different teams, and then go find your team that you support. So let's say I was going for NFL, and whatever. I'm here in Texas, so, I'm gonna scroll down here and make the Cowboys, which we're already out of the playoffs, but no big deal. Let's pretend that that was the team that I wanted. I would select that, make sure that I turn it on, so that this way, whenever they are playing, I can get those updates on when they score. So from a basic standpoint of the touchscreen, I want you to know that you can move these buttons around in case you find yourself constantly hitting the wrong button, right? So if I press and hold on one of the buttons, it is gonna eventually pull up this screen where I can now move buttons around, right? So I can move buttons around. I can completely get rid of buttons by dropping them in the trash. I can move them over to a secondary window, right? So if I want to place buttons in different places and just free this up to really all I have is audio and phone up here, or maybe I just want audio on the screen, right? I want a very basic setup, and then I just want to have that custom image behind it like we showed earlier. Know that you can do this simply by touching it and then moving it around. Now, if you're on the secondary skin that I showed you earlier, know that you can do the exact same thing there too. Once you get it set up, just hit OK, and now it's going to hold those where you've placed them. Now, when you're driving down the road, maybe you prefer to have the tachometer, but maybe you don't, right? Maybe you'd like to keep this as clean as possible so there's not much going on there. So when you do look down, you're just getting the details that you want. So let me show you how to turn the tachometer on and off. So from the home screen, here's what we're gonna do to turn the tachometer off. First off, I'm gonna go to settings. Once I'm into settings, I wanna go into system. Now, from system, it should be pretty easy here. I can see tachometer settings right in front of me. I'm able to turn this on and turn this off. When I turn this function off, I'm gonna move my camera over here so you can see it. But now my tachometer is gone, so I have nothing up there, so I can keep a nice clean display in case I want the bare minimum of what can be shown. All right, guys, so if you're like me, chances are you get out of your car, you shut the door, you walk off, you start to head into the grocery store, into your house, or whatever it may be, and then you go, oh, I'm pretty sure I left my laptop in the car, or my GoPros, or whatever in the front seat, and I don't know if I locked it. Now I'm gonna go into pure panic mode while I'm trying to shop until I go out there and make sure that I locked it. Well, what if I could tell you could set it up to where it'll automatically lock the doors when you get 10 feet from the car and you've got your keys in your pocket? All right, so to set it up to where your auto walkaway locks will fire off, it's not the default setting, which doesn't make sense, but I'll show you where to go. We're gonna go to settings. Now, once we're under settings, we wanna go to vehicle. Now, from vehicle, we wanna select door and window setup. So you may need to scroll down and you'll see door and window setup right there. Now, once I get to that, if you scroll to the very bottom of this, you'll see walkaway auto lock. Now, once I'm there, all I gotta do is turn this feature on and then hit yes. Now, once I've done that, now, the minute I get out of the car, I get 10 feet from the car and I have the keys with me, it will automatically lock the door so I don't have to worry about my belongings in the car. All right, so at this point, I think we are all pretty familiar with maybe what smart key entry is, right? So what that means is that when I walk up to the door, I can simply touch the door handle and it'll unlock my door for me. But what about my passenger doors, right? It doesn't unlock those. And what if it's raining and on the other side is my wife who is getting angry at me because I haven't gotten the door open for her yet? Well, what if I could set it up to where when I touch my door, it unlocks all the doors? Let me show you how to do that. All right, so to turn this feature on to where it'll unlock all the doors the minute I use the smart key entry to touch my door, let me show you what to do. I'm gonna go to settings. Now, once under settings, I wanna go to vehicle. Now, when I'm under vehicle, I wanna go to keyless access setup. Now, from keyless access setup, this is where I'm gonna access that. So I wanna go to the door unlock mode. Now, right now it's set to driver's door only. If I go to all doors and hit yes, now the minute I touch the door handle, it'll unlock all those doors for everyone else inside the vehicle. So on a scorching hot day, the last thing I wanna do is me and the pepperoni right here to be walking up to the car and have to get into a super hot car. But what you can do is, if I press this once and then press it twice and hold it, what it'll actually do is it'll roll my windows down and my moonroof so long as I continue to hold this down. Now, I will remind you that if it's raining out and you do this, you're about to get your car real wet. But let's talk about how to roll them up as well. All right, so if you want to roll them up, all you got to do is on the back of your keys, there's a switch here. And if you pull that switch, you're going to be able to get this key out. Now, when you get this key out, you're going to walk up and you're going to put it in your door. Now, you're going to turn it once and you're going to turn it again and hold it. And then as you hold it, it will roll your windows back up and it'll actually close your moonroof as well. Have you ever ran your car out of gas? I have. It happens, right? You weren't paying attention, you run your car out of gas. Well, if you end up walking to a gas station or getting a ride over there and you come back and you want to put gas in the car, well, one, you have to have something to put it in, but on this car, it's capless, right? So there's gonna be a valve. So let me show you what this magic funnel is that is living under here. So if you don't know what this funnel does, and you've never even looked under, one, you've got a spare, you've got a jack, and you got this funnel. But two, if you come around to the side, if I did run out of gas, I need to be able to hold this open so that I can pour gas in it. Well, that's in fact what this is for. So you could use it for a trumpet, you could use it for a lot of other things, but primarily it's designed to hold this open to where you could pour gas into your car in case you've run out. So here's one that's pretty helpful. So depending on what the height is to this, maybe when you open it in your garage, it hits stuff, or maybe your head continues to hit it, or maybe you just can't reach it because you're too small, right? Well, did you know that you can get this to whatever height you want, and then if you press and hold the button and listen for a double beep, it's now set to that height. So every time it'll open to that height. If I need to adjust it, move it to whatever that new height's gonna be, press and hold, double beep, and there we go. Here's a fun one that you may or may not know. So on here, you know that there's two buttons, right? And this is the one that opens the hatch, and if it's powered, that's what'll pop it open. But there's a button right next to it that you may not know about. So if I end up closing my hatch, the function of this button is that if I press that secondary button, I just lock the doors to the car. All right, guys, so we did it. We made it through, I think, something like 15 different tips and tricks on the Honda CR-V. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If I missed one, I hope that you'll do me a favor because I'm gonna ask you for a couple things. One, I hope you'll leave a comment. So if I did miss something or if you have questions about anything, please do leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. I hope that you will like the video. Please press the like button. It always helps push that video up further up the search. And let's be honest, there's a lot of good stuff in there that I think a lot of other people will appreciate. Lastly, hey, man, if you like what you saw, hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel. Always looking to share new info, whether it be on, any kind of Honda, right? Or the competitors, right? What competes against Honda and how do they stack up? So know that that's always available to you. And then lastly, hey man, if you like the video, I hope that you'll share it, right? If you find yourself in a forum, if you find yourself in a Facebook group, some people are asking questions, or you just got a friend, right? Who just bought a Honda, hopefully you'll share this with them so that they can learn, right? Before they own the car for a year and end up, having to learn on their own later on. So I just want to put that out there for you. So, hey, like the channel, leave a comment, subscribe, and hopefully you'll share it. Other than that, appreciate it, guys. Later!